Here we go again, talking about voting for the lesser of two evils. And just who is the lesser evil betwixt Donald Trump and Joe Biden? Surely Trump is divisive, mean, a liar, a stupid, incompetent, undisciplined man with no self-control or introspective awareness, a man who is incapable of feeling empathy for the pain of others, a narcissist who can't stand not being the center of attention. People are tired of hearing and reading the vitriol, the unfiltered, hateful, spiteful, uneducated thoughts that he puts out every single day. A man who needs to continuously feed his insatiable ego to trumpet his undeserved vainglory. Trump's rank incompetence and cruel divisiveness cause great harm to our nation. There's no doubt about that. But is that to say that Joe Biden is the lesser evil? You'd be a fool to think so. Let's not forget, Biden is a war criminal. He didn't simply vote for the Iraq War. He was the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate and used that position to promote and enable the Iraq War. Joe Biden even advocated for regime change in Iraq well before 9/11. He is every bit as complicit as George W. Bush and his administration in this crime against humanity. Is it any wonder that Colin Powell and other establishment military figures have endorsed Biden for president? Of course not. He's one of them. He always has been. He is part of the corrupt cesspool that makes up our political establishment. An establishment that serves the agenda of the political donor class, and that includes the military-industrial complex, the war profiteers that Biden has wholeheartedly served his entire career. Have we forgotten the hundreds of thousands of Iraqi citizens who've died, the thousands of U.S. military personnel, and the many more who suffered physical and mental wounds, whose lives have been irrevocably harmed? The anguish of their families who've lost loved ones, the use of incendiary weapons that brought unimaginably painful death, sectarian death squads that slaughtered many more innocents? It doesn't end there. The Obama-Biden administration has had more than their fair share of war crimes. Bombing Libya and a regime change action brought about a state of anarchy and terror. How many thousands died or were displaced? Libya even saw public slave auctions of sub-Saharan African migrants. Yep, it's true. The Obama-Biden administration are responsible for bringing chattel slavery of black Africans to Libya. You can look it up. They also armed terrorists in Syria to oppose the Assad regime. It was a case of bad guys fighting bad guys, and the ones who suffer are the civilians, as always. How many thousands died there? How many were displaced? Do you not remember the stream of refugees flooding into Europe? Let's take Donald Trump. He's certainly guilty of supporting Saudi Arabia's war in Yemen, but that war started under the Obama-Biden administration. The Yemeni people are dying due to starvation and state violence. The U.S. also conducted military operations in Somalia. Drone strikes indiscriminately killed civilians in Pakistan, in Somalia, in Yemen. And what legal justification was used for all these military actions? Why, none other than the authorization for use of military force of 2001 that Joe Biden supported and voted for. Yep. Goes all back to that. Biden is complicit in all these crimes. To us, civilians who died in these wars are just statistics. We don't really put a face to them. Media hasn't bothered to try to humanize victims of war by telling their stories. These victims all had hopes and dreams of their own. They had families that missed them. People have lost children and siblings and parents, other family members and friends. They were human beings. Their deaths are not inconsequential. Each of these deaths is a crime. Each person harmed is a crime. Hundreds of thousands of deaths. Millions who have been harmed. That is what Joe Biden is guilty of. So even after hearing all this, do you still support Joe Biden? Do you still think he's the lesser of two evils? Maybe you think I'm being unfair by focusing on war crimes. But as bad as Trump is, can you point to any crimes as heinous as the ones I've mentioned Biden is guilty of? Of course you can't. Don't even try. I'm sure many of you are twisting your brains into a pretzel right now in an effort to justify their vote for a war criminal. Many of you are more than happy to put your blinders on and ignore all the evil he has done, All because you hate Trump so much. You hate Trump so much that you are willing to discard all your moral values to vote against him. But don't delude yourselves. Biden is the greater evil. You do not have the moral high ground if you vote for Biden. Don't you dare criticize the speck in someone else's eye before you remove the boulder in your own. There are more than just the two options, though. There are candidates who are not guilty of crimes against humanity. I myself am voting Green this year. So I do get to claim the moral high ground because I'm not voting for an evil war criminal. How about you? Do you feel good about yourself?